The salty air whipped through the open windows of the beach house, carrying with it the scent of the sea and the promise of a new beginning. The weathered wood of the house creaked under the constant pressure of the ocean breeze, as if whispering secrets only the waves could understand. Inside, surrounded by the sparse furnishings and a lingering sense of faded grandeur, sat Ethan, a writer, seeking solace and inspiration in this isolated sanctuary. The beach house, with its peeling paint and slightly askew porch, had drawn him in with its enigmatic allure. There was a history embedded within its walls, a sense of untold stories that begged to be uncovered. He'd come to escape the clamor of city life, to find a rhythm that resonated with his soul, a rhythm that would inspire him to write again. He'd found the beach house through a dusty old real estate listing, a faded photograph capturing its faded glory. It sat perched precariously on a windswept cliff, overlooking a vast expanse of ocean that seemed to stretch forever. He was drawn to its isolation, the feeling that he could finally be alone with his thoughts, away from the distractions and demands of the world. The house felt both welcoming and mysterious, a refuge from the world yet brimming with an almost tangible energy. Ethan wandered through the rooms, his footsteps echoing on the worn wooden floors. He ran his fingers along the rough-hewn beams of the ceiling, imagining the hands that had built this house so long ago. He opened cupboards filled with dusty remnants of past lives, uncovering forgotten photographs and chipped teacups. Each object whispered stories of love, loss, and lives lived long before his own. The house held a sense of solitude that was both calming and unnerving. The silence was broken only by the crashing waves against the shore and the occasional cry of a seagull. The house, with its aged charm, felt like a character in its own right, a silent observer of the lives that had unfolded within its walls. He could feel a connection to the past, a sense that he was stepping into a world he could only glimpse through the fading remnants of a life lived long before his own. The air within the house was heavy with the scent of salt and sea. The windows, overlooking the sprawling expanse of the ocean, offered an endless view of the horizon, where the sky and the sea met in a blurred embrace. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a kaleidoscope of oranges, pinks, and purples, mirroring the emotions that stirred within Ethan. The beach house felt like a womb, a sanctuary from the world's relentless demands. He hoped that within its weathered walls, he would finally find the inspiration he had been yearning for. He wandered into a small, sun-drenched room that seemed to serve as a makeshift office. The room was filled with the remnants of a life once lived, with books piled high on a creaky desk and stacks of papers strewn about the floor. He found a leather-bound journal tucked away in a drawer, its pages filled with faded ink. A faded photograph of a young couple, their faces etched with youthful joy, peeked out from between the pages. Ethan picked it up, his fingers tracing the edges of the photograph, the faded image capturing a moment frozen in time. He was drawn to their story, the unspoken emotions captured in their eyes. He sat down at the desk, his eyes drawn to the journal, his fingers tracing the faded words that seemed to whisper stories of a love lost, a longing that echoed through the ages. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the room, he felt a chill run down his spine. It was as if the house itself was holding its breath, the silence punctuated only by the distant roar of the waves. He glanced at the journal, the faded ink seeming to shimmer under the soft glow of the setting sun. He felt a sudden urge to read the words that had been penned so long ago, the ink telling a story that was waiting to be heard. With a hesitant touch, he opened the journal. The words were simple, yet filled with an undeniable depth of emotion. The writer, a man named James, poured out his heart to a woman he couldn't have. A woman who seemed to hold the key to his happiness, The letters spoke of a love that transcended time and circumstance, a love that had been lost but not forgotten. Each word whispered of a longing that echoed across the years, reaching out to him, drawing him into a world of love and loss that had been buried beneath the sands of time. He read the letters with a growing sense of fascination. He was drawn to the raw honesty of James's emotions, his yearning for a love that had slipped through his fingers. The words seemed to reach into his soul, igniting a spark within him, a desire to uncover the truth behind the story, to understand the love that had so deeply touched James's heart. His fingers skimmed over the faded ink, his mind conjuring images of the love story that unfolded in the journal's pages. He imagined James, a young man with eyes that held the promise of a love that was yet to be, writing these letters in this very room, his heart filled with the hope of a future that was not meant to be. He imagined the woman, the object of his love, her name, a whispered secret that danced on the wind. He closed the journal, his mind buzzing with questions. Who was James? Who was the woman he loved? What secrets did this old house hold? He was captivated by the mystery, the allure of a love story that had been lost to time. He felt a powerful urge to uncover the truth, to find the answers that lay hidden within the pages of the journal and the walls of the beach house. He knew that he had stumbled upon something extraordinary, a treasure trove of love letters that whispered of a love that had transcended time. He was determined to unravel the mystery, to discover the story that lay hidden within the weathered bottle, a story that was waiting to be told. The air was thick with the salty tang of the ocean, a familiar scent that always brought a sense of calm to my soul. I had chosen this secluded beach house for its quiet solitude, a haven where I could finally finish the novel that had been haunting my dreams for months. It was a story of loss and longing, a tale that resonated deeply with the melancholic spirit I carried within. I needed a place where I could lose myself in the narrative, where the gentle rhythm of the waves could wash away my anxieties and inspire my creativity. I had only been in the house for a few days when I discovered the weathered bottle. It was tucked away in a dusty corner of the attic, forgotten amidst a collection of forgotten trinkets and dusty memories. Its pale glass was etched with the marks of time, a testament to its long journey across the vast expanse of the sea. A delicate cork, softened by the relentless embrace of the ocean, held the secrets of the past within its embrace. Intrigued, I carefully uncorked the bottle, a sense of anticipation tingling through my veins. Inside, nestled amidst layers of parchment, were a handful of letters, their edges frayed and brittle from the salt and moisture of the sea. They were written in elegant cursive, the ink faded with time, but the words remained clear and vibrant. The first letter began with a simple salutation, "My dearest Amelia." It was dated July 18th, 1895, and signed with the name James. The letter was filled with heartfelt confessions of love, a longing for a connection that seemed forever out of reach. "Amelia, my love," James wrote, "I write these words with a heart overflowing with emotions I cannot contain. You are the sun that illuminates my world, the moon that guides my dreams, the very air I breathe. I long to be with you, to feel the warmth of your touch, to hear the melody of your laughter. But fate has conspired against us, and we are separated by an insurmountable distance." As I delved deeper into the letters, I felt a growing sense of empathy for James. His words were a testament to the unyielding power of love, a love that transcended physical distance and societal constraints. Each letter painted a vivid picture of his struggles, his yearnings, his unspoken desires. He spoke of his life in a bustling coastal town, his work as a fisherman, his yearning for a life beyond the confines of his small world. He wrote of his dreams of a future with Amelia, a future where they could build a life together, a future that seemed both near and impossibly distant. But there was a tragic undertone to James's words, a sense of unspoken pain that lingered beneath the surface of his love. He alluded to a secret, a hidden truth, that weighed heavily on his heart. "Amelia," he wrote in one letter, "I fear our love is cursed. There are forces beyond our control that stand between us. I long to tell you everything, but the truth would only bring you pain. Perhaps someday, my love, someday we will be together, but until then, I must bear this burden alone." The more I read, the more I was captivated by the enigma surrounding Amelia. Who was she? Why was she separated from James? What forces conspired to keep them apart? The letters hinted at a love story that defied circumstance, a love that endured despite the trials and tribulations of life. But they also hinted at a tragedy, a heartbreaking story waiting to be unveiled. I felt a growing sense of urgency to learn more about Amelia. I yearned to unravel the mystery surrounding her, to connect the pieces of a love story that seemed to have been torn apart by the cruel hand of fate. I knew that the weathered bottle held more than just words. It held a story, a legacy of love that had endured the test of time. And I, a writer driven by a thirst for truth and a passion for the human experience, felt compelled to uncover it. The letters from the sea had awakened a dormant passion within me, a desire to explore the echoes of the past and to weave a tapestry of love, loss, and the enduring spirit of connection. I knew then that my journey had just begun. The worn leather of the journal felt cool against my fingertips as I delved deeper into James's words. Each letter was a testament to his unwavering devotion, a passionate outpouring of a heart consumed by a love that defied all odds. His words painted a vivid picture of a woman who was more than just a muse. She was a force of nature, a radiant spirit who ignited his soul. He wrote of their clandestine meetings under the cloak of moonlight, their stolen kisses tasting of forbidden fruit, and the whispered promises they exchanged, knowing their time together was fleeting. There was a palpable ache in James's words, a longing that resonated through the centuries. He spoke of sacrifices made, of dreams deferred, and of a love that had been cruelly torn apart by forces beyond their control. The letters hinted at a heartbreaking story, a love story that had been shrouded in secrecy and lost to the passage of time. I was captivated by their forbidden romance, their love story that had defied the limitations of time and circumstance. As I read, I felt a strange kinship with James and understanding of the depths of his love. His words were not just ink on paper, they were a window into his soul, a glimpse into the profound impact this woman had had on his life. I was intrigued by the mystery surrounding his beloved, her name whispered in hushed tones within the pages of his letters. Who was this woman who had captured his heart so completely? What were the circumstances that had led to their tragic separation? The more I read, the more I felt compelled to unravel the enigma of their love story. I was drawn to the challenge of piecing together the fragments of their past, of giving voice to their silenced whispers. I felt a responsibility to honor their love, to ensure that their story wouldn't be forgotten, swallowed by the relentless tide of time. The letters whispered secrets of a love that transcended time, a love that had endured despite the passage of centuries. They offered a glimpse into a world that was both familiar and foreign, a world where love and loss were intertwined, where the past whispered its secrets into the ears of the present. The letters were more than just a collection of words. They were a testament to the enduring power of love. They were a reminder that even in the face of adversity, love could bloom and thrive. They whispered of a love that had defied all odds, a love that had transcended time and circumstance, I knew that their story was not just a story of the past. It was a story that resonated with the present, a story that spoke to the timeless nature of love and the enduring power of human connection. As I finished reading the final letter, I felt a surge of emotion, a mixture of sadness and hope. I felt a deep connection to James and his beloved, a sense of empathy for their lost love. But I also felt a sense of purpose, a determination to unravel the mystery of their story, to discover the truth behind their love and loss. The letters were a gift, a treasure that had washed ashore on the shores of time, waiting to be discovered. And I, the unexpected recipient, was ready to embrace their story, to let their whispers guide me on a journey of discovery. The letters, penned with a delicate hand, spoke of a love that transcended time and circumstance. They were filled with longing, with a yearning that echoed through the decades, reaching out to me across the years. The language was poetic, the sentiments profound, revealing a man named James, his heart overflowing with devotion for a woman he couldn't have. Each letter whispered of a love story that had been lost, a connection that had been severed, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a deep, aching sense of longing. It was the mystery of his beloved that truly captivated me. Who was she? Why had they been torn apart? The letters alluded to a past shrouded in secrets, hinting at a heartbreaking story waiting to be unveiled. They spoke of a love that had been tested by circumstance, a love that had been forced to endure the sting of separation. The letters were a testament to the enduring power of love, a love that even the passage of time couldn't extinguish. I felt a surge of determination to unravel the enigma. Surrounding James and his beloved, I wanted to learn their story, to understand the complexities of their relationship, the joys and sorrows they had shared. The words on those weathered pages sparked a flame of curiosity within me, a desire to connect with the past and to understand the legacy of love that had been left behind. The letters were more than just words on paper. They were a window into a lost world, a portal to a time when love seemed to be both a blessing and a curse. I felt a deep kinship with James, drawn to his vulnerability and his unwavering devotion. I understood the pain of unrequited love, the feeling of being left behind, the longing for a connection that seemed out of reach. The letters were a poignant reminder that love could be both a source of immense joy and a source of profound sorrow. They reminded me that even the most beautiful love stories could be marred by tragedy, that even the most enduring connections could be broken by the unforgiving hand of fate. The letters were a treasure trove of emotions, each word etched with a profound sense of longing and a bittersweet sense of loss. I spent hours poring over them, trying to decipher the nuances of language, the unspoken emotions that lay hidden beneath the surface. I felt like I was getting to know James, understanding the depths of his love, the pain he had endured, the dreams he had held so dearly. I felt like I was on a journey with him, traveling through time, reliving the moments of his love story, the moments of his joy and his heartbreak. I was determined to find out who his beloved was, to understand the reasons for their separation, to piece together the fragments of a story that had been lost to time. I felt a responsibility to honor their love, to tell their story, to ensure that it wasn't forgotten. I envisioned a tapestry woven with threads of love, loss, and longing, a story that would resonate with readers for generations to come. I knew that the journey would be fraught with challenges, that there would be dead ends and false leads, but I was determined to see it through to the end. The letters were my compass, guiding me through the labyrinth of the past, leading me towards a truth that had been hidden for too long. They whispered secrets, revealing glimpses of a love story that had been etched onto the hearts of those who had come before me. They were a testament to the enduring power of love, a power that could transcend time, distance, and even death. They were a reminder that love, even in its most painful forms, had the power to leave an indelible mark on the world. As I continued to read, I became increasingly aware of the details, the subtle nuances of language that hinted at a deeper truth. I noticed patterns, recurring themes, and symbols that seemed to hold a key to the mystery. The letters were more than just a love story. They were a cryptic puzzle, a treasure map leading to a hidden truth. I began to meticulously analyze every sentence, every word, searching for clues, for hidden meanings, for any sign that would shed light on the identity of James's beloved and the reasons for their separation. I felt like I was on a quest, a pilgrimage to uncover a truth that had been buried for centuries. I knew that the answers were out there, hidden somewhere within the letters, waiting to be discovered. I spent days and nights poring over the letters, searching for clues, for anything that might lead me to the truth. I felt like I was on the edge of a great discovery, that I was about to unlock a secret that had been kept for generations. I felt the weight of James's story on my shoulders, the responsibility to honor his love, to tell his story, to ensure that his voice was heard. The mystery of James's beloved consumed me, driving me to delve deeper into the letters, to search for answers, to piece together the fragments of a story that had been lost to time. I felt a sense of urgency, a need to uncover the truth, to understand the reasons behind their separation, to find out what had happened to them. The letters were my guide, my beacon in the darkness, leading me towards a truth that had been hidden for far too long. I knew that the journey wouldn't be easy, that there would be obstacles along the way, that I might not find all the answers I was looking for. But I was determined to see it through. I had made a promise to James, a promise to honor his love, to tell his story, to ensure that his voice was heard. I knew that the journey would be transformative, that it would change me in ways I couldn't yet imagine. I had embarked on a quest for truth, a quest to understand the complexities of love and loss, a quest to unravel them. Mysteries of the past. The letters from the sea were my guide, my compass, my lifeline, leading me towards a truth that had been hidden for far too long. I felt a sense of purpose, a sense of destiny, a sense that I was meant to be on this journey. I knew that James's story, his love, would change my life forever. The weathered bottle with its delicate inscription and faded label sat on the worn wooden table beside me. I had found it tucked away in the corner of the attic, a forgotten relic of the beach house's past. Inside, nestled among the sand and the sea-worn glass shards, lay a bundle of handwritten letters, tied together with a frayed blue ribbon. Each letter was carefully folded, the ink faded with time, but the words within were still vibrant, bursting with a longing that resonated through the years. The letters were penned by a man named James, addressed to a woman he clearly adored. His words were a symphony of love, filled with yearning and a sense of unfulfilled longing. His words spoke of stolen glances, secret. Driven by curiosity and a desire to connect with the past, I felt a stirring within me, a need to unravel the mystery surrounding James's love story. This was no ordinary tale of romance, but a glimpse into a bygone era, a love story lost to the tides of time. I wanted to understand the depth of James's love, to know the woman who had captivated his heart. I wanted to know the reasons for their separation, the circumstances that had torn them apart. I wanted to find the echoes of their love, to discover if their story had found an ending, a closure that had eluded them in their lifetime. The beach house itself seemed to whisper secrets, its weathered walls holding memories of a love long lost. I felt a surge of energy within me, a sense of purpose that I hadn't felt in years. The past was calling to me, urging me to unravel the mystery of James's love. The beach, a haven of peace and serenity, became my sanctuary. I walked the sand, the salty air filling my lungs, the rhythmic crash of the waves against the shore, lulling my senses. The beauty of the coast resonated with my soul, mirroring the emotions I found within James's letters. With each passing day, I felt a growing sense of connection to James's story. The letters became my guide, revealing fragments of his life and his love. I spent hours researching old records, exploring dusty archives in search of clues to his beloved's identity. I delved into the family genealogies, tracing the lineage of the woman James had loved so deeply. The more I learned, the more I was drawn into the world of James and his beloved. I felt a sense of responsibility, a need to honor their story, to give it a voice that had been silenced for so long. My journey of discovery led me to a woman named Amelia, a descendant of James's beloved. Amelia, a woman with a warm smile and eyes that mirrored the depths of the sea, carried the legacy of James's love in her blood. She was a conduit to the past, a living testament to the enduring nature of love that transcended time and circumstance. Amelia's story was a symphony of interwoven threads, a tapestry woven with love and loss, passion and pain. As she spoke of her ancestors, her voice carried the echoes of the past, the whispers of James's love echoing in the room. She shared stories of James's visits to the beach house, the secret rendezvous they had enjoyed under the moonlit sky, the unspoken longing that had consumed them both. Amelia's stories filled in the missing pieces of the puzzle, revealing the unspoken truth behind James's letters. Her words painted vivid pictures of a love that had been tested by societal norms, a love that had been forced to endure in secrecy. I learned of the barriers that had separated them, the unspoken rules that had kept them apart. Meeting Amelia was a moment of revelation, a connection that transcended the boundaries of time and circumstance. I felt a kinship with her, a shared understanding of the power of love and the bittersweet nature of the past. The beach house, once a forgotten relic, became a place of pilgrimage, a sanctuary where James's love story unfolded in the whispers of the sea. As I spent time with Amelia, I felt a new sense of purpose. James's story was no longer a mystery to be solved, but a love story to be celebrated. His letters, a testament to his unrequited love, were now a beacon, guiding us towards a shared understanding of the enduring power of connection. The beach house, once a place of solitude and introspection, became a gathering place, a testament to the enduring nature of love that transcended time and circumstance. Amelia's story and the letters from James became the threads that wove together the past and the present, creating a new chapter in our lives. The journey to unravel James's love story had taken me on an unexpected path, leading me to a new beginning. It was a journey of discovery, a pilgrimage into the past, and a testament to the power of love that transcended the boundaries of time and circumstance. The beach house, with its weathered walls and its forgotten attic, was a silent witness to the enduring power of love, the mystery of the past, and the promise of new beginnings. The whispers from the sea, carried by the wind and the crashing waves, echoed the timeless tale of James's love, a testament to the enduring power of connection and the bittersweet beauty of the past. The weathered bottle, a curious relic washed ashore by the relentless tides, had become the catalyst for an unexpected journey. The love letters within, penned by a man named James, spoke of a love that transcended time and circumstance, a love that had left an indelible mark on his soul. Intrigued by James's yearning and the mystery surrounding his beloved, I resolved to unravel the past, to trace the lineage of the woman whose name was whispered in the faded ink of the letters. My search began with dusty volumes in the local library, their pages filled with the meticulous records of generations past. I meticulously scoured family genealogies, piecing together fragmented narratives, each name a potential link to the woman who held James's heart. The search was like navigating a labyrinth, each clue leading to a new twist and turn, each dead end leaving me with a sense of frustration and anticipation. Days turned into weeks, and the pursuit of James's beloved consumed my thoughts. I delved into the intricacies of local history, scrutinizing records of births, marriages, and deaths, searching for a pattern, a whisper of connection. The local historian, a wizened woman named As Hawthorne, became my guide, her knowledge of the region's families a valuable resource. "James," she said, her voice a soft murmur. His family had roots in this region for centuries. He was a man of the land, a farmer who found solace in the simple life, yet his heart yearned for something more. Her words resonated with the melancholy that permeated James's letters. He was a man of quiet passion, his love expressed with a depth and sincerity that touched my own soul. I yearned to understand the circumstances that had separated him from his beloved, to know the reasons behind his enduring love. Miss Hawthorne, with her keen eye for detail, helped me uncover a piece of the puzzle. His beloved, she was a woman of great beauty and spirit, a daughter of the seafaring families who once dominated this coast. She pointed to a faded photograph on the wall, its image of a young woman with eyes that mirrored the azure sea. She was a woman who loved adventure, who embraced the untamed spirit of the ocean. The woman in the photograph, with her flowing hair and captivating gaze, seemed to embody the essence of James's love. Her name was Eleanor, and she was the daughter of a prominent ship captain who had sailed the world, seeking fortune and adventure. "She had a fire within her, Mrs. Hawthorne continued, an unyielding spirit that clashed with James's quiet nature. Their love was a tapestry of passion and defiance, a testament to the unpredictable forces that bind two souls together." Intrigued by this revelation, I pressed further. Why did they separate? What happened to her? Miss Hawthorne sighed, her gaze drifting to the sea beyond the library window. Eleanor. She yearned for something more than the simple life that James could offer. She sailed away, following the call of the sea, leaving James behind with his broken heart. The story Miss Hawthorne shared was both tragic and poignant. Eleanor's departure had left a chasm in James's life, a void that his letters seemed to echo. I was determined to find a descendant of Eleanor, to understand the legacy of her spirit, to see if any fragments of her story remained in the lives of those who came after her. My search led me to a small coastal village nestled amidst the rolling hills overlooking the azure waters. The village, steeped in history and maritime tradition, was where Eleanor's family had once thrived, their lives inextricably linked to the sea. It was here that I encountered Amelia, a woman with a captivating smile and eyes that held the depths of the ocean. She was a descendant of Eleanor, her lineage traced back to the woman in the faded photograph. Amelia, with her warm hospitality and infectious laughter, welcomed me into her home, a quaint cottage overlooking the harbor. She shared stories of her family, tales of seafaring adventures and enduring love, stories that echoed the spirit of her ancestor. "My grandmother used to tell me stories about Eleanor," she said, her voice filled with reverence. She spoke of a woman who was both adventurous and passionate, a woman who defied convention and followed her heart. Amelia's words stirred within me a sense of kinship. Her ancestors' story, a love lost and a legacy preserved, mirrored my own pursuit of James's unrequited love. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the village, I felt a sense of purpose. I had found the link to Eleanor, her spirit carried forward through the generations. Amelia, with her open heart and unwavering spirit, seemed to embody the very essence of her ancestor. And as I sat with Amelia listening to her stories, a new chapter began to unfold, a chapter that promised to weave together the echoes of the past with the promise of a new beginning. The letters from the sea had led me to Amelia, a descendant of James's beloved, and in her eyes I saw the reflection of a love that had transcended time and circumstance. The journey had only just begun, and with each passing moment, I felt a growing sense of anticipation, a sense that the secrets of the past would guide me toward a destiny I had yet to fully comprehend. Amelia's smile was a beacon in the dimly lit room. The antique lamp cast long shadows, dancing across the worn wood of her grandfather's desk, where a worn leather-bound journal lay open, its pages filled with faded ink. The air carried the scent of old paper and dust, a bittersweet reminder of a life long gone. "He wrote so beautifully, don't you think?" Amelia asked, her gaze tracing the elegant script that flowed across the page. James had such a way with words. The writer, whose name was Ethan, couldn't help but nod in agreement. He'd spent countless hours poring over those very letters, each one a testament to the depth of James's love for his beloved. They were a symphony of longing and devotion, a testament to a love that defied time and circumstance. "He truly believed he would see her again," Amelia continued, her voice soft with a hint of melancholy. "Even after all these years, he never gave up hope." Ethan felt a lump form in his throat. He knew all too well the power of unrequited love, the way it could linger in the heart, leaving an indelible mark on the soul. It was a feeling that echoed in James's letters, a poignant reminder of the bittersweet nature of love and loss. His love for her, Amelia said, her gaze lingering on the faded ink. It was like a thread woven into the fabric of our family history. We all felt it in different ways throughout the generations. My grandmother used to tell stories about her grandfather, James, and how he was a man of great passion, but also of great sorrow. Ethan leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. Amelia's words painted a vivid picture of a man whose heart was torn between love and duty, his dreams thwarted by the realities of his time. He longed to know more about James, about the woman who held his heart captive, and about the circumstances that had kept them apart. Amelia closed the journal, her fingers tracing the worn leather cover. "I wish I knew more about her," she whispered, her voice tinged with longing. "They say she was a woman of incredible beauty and grace, with a spirit as wild as the ocean. She was the epitome of freedom, a woman who refused to be confined by societal expectations." Ethan could almost feel the echoes of James's love in the room, the warmth of his affection radiating from the faded pages of the journal. He could imagine the woman he'd loved, the woman Amelia described, a vision of beauty and spirit, defying the constraints of her time. "There's a painting of her," Amelia said, her voice filled with a wistful tone. "It's in the attic of our family home. My grandmother kept it hidden away, a treasure she shared only with a few select people." Ethan's heart quickened. The painting, a tangible link to James's beloved, offered a glimpse into the past, a chance to connect with a love story that had transcended time. "Do you think I could see it?" Ethan asked, his voice filled with anticipation. Amelia smiled, a hint of mischief glinting in her eyes. "I think we might just have time for that," she replied, rising from her chair. As Amelia led Ethan up the creaking wooden stairs towards the attic, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to uncover a piece of James's story, a piece that might hold the key to unraveling the mystery of his lost love. The attic was a haven of forgotten treasures, filled with dust-covered furniture, antique trunks, and stacks of yellowed photographs. Sunlight streamed through a small window, illuminating a single easel in the corner. On it, covered with a thick sheet of linen, stood a painting, its presence radiating an aura of mystery and intrigue. Amelia gently lifted the linen, revealing a stunning portrait of a young woman with luminous eyes and a cascade of raven hair. She wore a simple white dress, its fabric billowing in the breeze, her face turned towards the sun, a radiant smile gracing her lips. The painting emanated a vibrant energy, a testament to the woman's spirit, her freedom, and her love for the sea. Her name was Isabella, Amelia whispered, her voice filled with awe. She was the woman James loved, the woman who stole his heart. Ethan felt a wave of emotion wash over him. The painting, a poignant reminder of a love lost, had brought James's story to life, transporting him to another time, another place. He could almost feel the warmth of James's love radiating from the canvas, the depth of his passion echoing in the woman's eyes. "She looks like you," Ethan said, his voice barely a whisper. Amelia smiled, a touch of sadness in her eyes. "She was my great-grandmother," she said, her voice filled with a sense of wonder and pride. "I often feel her presence in my life, guiding me, whispering secrets from the past." Ethan's heart ached with empathy. He understood Amelia's connection to Isabella, the way the past could echo in the present, shaping destinies and influencing lives. He felt a surge of gratitude for Amelia, for her willingness to share this part of her family history, for her openness and vulnerability. "It's like she's looking right at me," Ethan said, his gaze locked on Isabella's portrait. "It's as if she's trying to tell me something, to connect with me across the generations." Amelia laid a hand on Ethan's arm, her touch a gentle reassurance. "She is, Ethan. She's telling you a story of love and loss, of dreams and desires, of a life lived with passion and purpose." As they stood there, surrounded by the echoes of the past, Ethan felt an overwhelming sense of connection to Isabella, to James, and to Amelia. He realized that he was more than just a writer, a storyteller weaving tales of love and loss. He was a conduit, a bridge between the past and the present, carrying the legacy of James's love, the spirit of Isabella, and the hope of a new beginning. He had found his purpose, his voice, his story. And it had all begun with a weathered bottle washed ashore by the tides of time, carrying the echoes of a love that had transcended generations. Amelia, with her eyes reflecting the gentle ripples of the ocean, shared tales of a past woven with both joy and sorrow. The stories she told, pieced together from faded photographs and whispered family legends, painted a vivid picture of James's life, a life intertwined with the woman who held his heart. She spoke of a young James, a man of quiet strength and unwavering devotion. His love for her grandmother, Alara, as constant as the tide. He had met her on the very beach where Amelia now stood, their connection forged under the golden glow of a setting sun. The letters, penned with a yearning so palpable, mirrored the stories Amelia shared of stolen moments, secret rendezvous, and the unspoken promises that hung heavy in the air. Amelia spoke of Alara's gentle spirit, a woman whose heart held a melody of kindness and grace. James had been drawn to her as if by an invisible thread, his admiration deepening into an all-consuming passion. They were young, their dreams entwined, their futures seemingly set in motion. But fate, as it often does, had a different plan. Their love was a whisper in the wind, a fleeting moment in the grand tapestry of life. The circumstances that separated them, a tangled web of family expectations and socials constraints, were like a cold wind that extinguished their flame. They parted ways, each carrying the weight of a love unfulfilled, a bittersweet memory etched in their souls. Amelia's words were a symphony of loss and resilience. She spoke of the quiet heartbreak that shadowed James, of the poems he wrote, the love letters he penned, each one a poignant testament to a love that defied circumstance and time. His love, a constant in a life filled with uncertainty, had echoed through the years, leaving an imprint on the generations that followed. Listening to Amelia's words, the writer felt a deep connection to James, a shared understanding of the power of love, the ache of unrequited longing, and the enduring nature of the heart. The letters, those whispered echoes of the past, provided a tangible link to James's story, weaving a bridge across the chasm of time. They spoke of his pain, his yearning, and his hope, painting a portrait of a man whose love had transcended the boundaries of time and circumstance. As the writer absorbed the details of James's story, a realization dawned: the love that James had felt for Alara, the love that Amelia carried in her heart, was a thread that bound them all together. It was a love that defied separation, a love that echoed across generations, a love that whispered of the enduring spirit of the heart. Amelia's eyes, filled with a bittersweet nostalgia, reflected the depth of the love story she had shared. "James never stopped loving Alara," she whispered, her voice tinged with a quiet reverence. "He loved her with a passion that knew no bounds. His love, though unrequited, was a beacon in his life, a constant source of inspiration. He carried her memory with him, his heart forever bound to hers." The writer, captivated by the story of James and Alara, felt a sense of wonder and awe. Theirs was a love story that defied the constraints of time and circumstance, a testament to the power of the human heart to love, to yearn, and to hold on to hope. As Amelia spoke, the writer felt a profound connection to the past, to the echoes of a love that had transcended generations. Amelia's stories, laced with the subtle fragrance of the salty air and the whisper of the sea, unveiled a tapestry of love, loss, and resilience. James's letters, like shards of a broken mirror, reflected a love that had been shattered but never forgotten. The writer, standing on that same beach where James and Alara had first met, felt a sense of connection to the past, a realization that the echoes of their love still resonated in the very air they breathed. The writer felt a profound sense of gratitude for the opportunity to delve into James's story, to connect with his love, and to understand the legacy he had left behind. His story, a poignant reminder of the enduring power of love, had touched the writer's heart, sparking a sense of curiosity, a desire to uncover the secrets of the past, and a yearning to understand the intricate tapestry of human connection. Amelia, with her gentle spirit and captivating stories, had become a conduit to the past, a bridge between the writer and the echoes of a love that had spanned generations. The writer felt a profound sense of connection to Amelia, a recognition of a shared history, a shared love for the beach paradise, and a shared understanding of the complexities of the heart. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows on the sandy beach, the writer felt a sense of peace, a sense of completion. The story of James and Alara had woven its way into the fabric of their lives, a testament to the enduring power of love, the mystery of the past, and the possibility of new beginnings. The writer, captivated by Amelia's stories, had gained a deeper understanding of James's unrequited love, a love that had transcended time and circumstance, a love that had left an indelible mark on the generations that followed. Amelia's words, like whispers from the sea, had carried James's story across the years, revealing the depth of his devotion and the bittersweet legacy of a love that had defied fate. The scent of salt air and the rhythmic crash of waves against the shore were a constant backdrop to the writer's days. He had found solace in the secluded beach house, a haven where inspiration flowed freely. But even in this idyllic setting, a nagging sense of restlessness persisted. He needed more than just the beauty of the ocean to fuel his creativity. He was drawn to the weathered bottle, its worn surface whispering secrets of the past. Inside, nestled amidst the faded parchment, were love letters, their ink barely visible, but their words etched in the writer's mind. The letters were James's testament to a love that had defied time and circumstance, a love that burned fiercely despite them. Obstacles it faced. Each letter revealed a piece of James's soul, his longing for the woman he couldn't have, his yearning for a connection that had been cruelly severed. The writer found himself immersed in James's words, his heart aching with the pain of unrequited love. The mystery surrounding James's beloved. He felt a connection to this nameless woman, a sense of shared longing and a yearning for a love that transcended the boundaries of time. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, the writer embarked on a journey to unravel the past, to piece together the fragments of James's love story. He delved into historical records, tracing the lineage of James's beloved, searching for any clue that could lead him to her descendants. His quest took him to dusty archives and crumbling cemeteries, each discovery unveiling a new layer of the past. And then, one fateful afternoon, he stumbled upon a name that sent a shiver down his spine: Amelia. Amelia was the descendant of James's beloved, a woman who carried the legacy of their love story in her blood. She was a captivating woman, her eyes holding a depth that spoke of untold stories, and her smile hinting at a strength born from generations of resilience. The writer reached out to Amelia, his heart pounding with anticipation. He had finally found a link to the past, a connection to the woman who had inspired James's love letters. As he sat across from Amelia, their gazes locking, he felt a surge of familiarity, a sense of shared history that defied the boundaries of time. Amelia spoke of her ancestors, sharing stories that painted a vivid picture of James's life and his unwavering love for her great-grandmother. She spoke of James's struggles, his sacrifices, and the heartache he had endured for a love that could never be. The writer listened intently, each word woven into the tapestry of James's love story. Amelia's stories filled in the gaps, breathing life into the faded letters and giving shape to the writer's imagination. He saw James, not just through his words, but through the lens of Amelia's eyes. The meeting was filled with a palpable sense of connection, a resonance that pulsed between the writer and Amelia. They spoke of shared interests, a love for the sea and a passion for history that seemed to bind them together. They found solace in the shared stories, in the echoes of James's love that resonated through their shared ancestry. As they spent more time together, the writer found himself drawn to Amelia's strength, her resilience, and her quiet grace. Her spirit mirrored the unwavering love that had fueled James's letters, and he found himself falling into a rhythm of shared moments, a comfortable ease that defied the boundaries of time. Amelia, in turn, saw in the writer a kindred spirit, a man who understood the weight of history and the power of love that spanned generations. She saw a reflection of her own, longing for connection, a desire to bridge the gap between the past and the present. Their paths had intertwined in the most unexpected way, their lives forever linked by the echoes of a love story that had transcended time. The writer had found more than just the inspiration he had sought. He had found a connection, a sense of belonging, and a glimpse of love that echoed through the sands of time. The days that followed were a tapestry woven with the threads of shared laughter, heartfelt conversations, and the gentle rhythm of the sea. Amelia, with her warm smile and knowing eyes, felt like a kindred spirit. They explored the coastal paths together, their footsteps leaving prints in the soft sand. The salt air carried the whispers of their shared heritage, binding them in a way neither could have anticipated. Amelia, with her innate connection to the beach, pointed out the intricate patterns etched in the sand by the retreating tide. Her voice, as melodious as the seagull's calls, painted vivid portraits of her ancestors who had lived and loved within these very shores. She spoke of her great-grandmother, a woman of strong spirit and quiet grace, who had once been the heart of their family home. Amelia's words seemed to echo the sentiments expressed in James's letters, painting a picture of a woman whose beauty and strength had captivated the writer's heart. The writer, in turn, shared his love for the written word, confessing his desire to weave Amelia's stories into a narrative, a tribute to the lineage that had brought them together. He found himself drawn to Amelia's gentle nature and her profound understanding of the sea's ebb and flow. He saw a reflection of James's beloved in her eyes, the same sparkle of intelligence and warmth that had ignited James's passion all those years ago. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, they sat on the weathered wooden steps of the beach house. Amelia, gazing out at the vast expanse of the ocean, spoke of the stories she had heard from her grandmother, tales of a love lost and a legacy carried through generations. Her voice trembled slightly as she recounted the tale of her ancestors' heartbreak. A story whispered through generations, a bittersweet echo of James's love. The writer listened intently, his heart resonating with Amelia's sorrow. He could see the pain etched in her eyes, a testament to the lingering impact of James's unrequited love. He realized that James's story wasn't just about a lost love. It was about the enduring power of connection, the echoes of the past that resonated through generations. As the darkness enveloped the beach, the writer felt a surge of emotions. He felt a connection to Amelia that transcended time, a bond forged by the shared history they were uncovering. He felt a responsibility to honor James's love story, not just by telling it, but by ensuring that its essence lived on in the present, in the connection he was forging with Amelia. He reached for her hand, his touch gentle and reassuring. Amelia met his gaze, a flicker of understanding passing between them. They spent the rest of the evening in a comfortable silence, the waves crashing against the shore, serving as a rhythmic backdrop to their unspoken understanding. They were both touched by James's story, by the echoes of a love lost and a legacy carried through time. Their connection was a testament to the enduring power of love, a love that transcended time and circumstance, a love that whispered its secrets through the sea's embrace. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a symphony of oranges, pinks, and purples. The air was cool and salty, the gentle breeze carrying the scent of the sea. Amelia stood beside the writer, her gaze fixed on the vast expanse of the ocean. The waves crashed rhythmically against the shore, their steady rhythm echoing a sense of peace and tranquility. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" the writer asked, his voice soft, almost reverent. Amelia nodded, a small smile gracing her lips. "It's a place where I feel at home," she said, her voice tinged with a touch of melancholy. "It's where I feel closest to my ancestors, to James." The writer, drawn to her vulnerability, reached out and gently took her hand. He could feel the warmth of her skin against his, the gentle pulse of her heartbeat. "James loved this place too," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "It's evident in every word he wrote, every emotion he poured into those letters." Amelia's gaze drifted out to sea, her thoughts lost in the distant past. "He wrote about the sunsets, about the way the light would dance on the waves," she said softly. "He called it a canvas painted by the heavens." The writer felt a surge of connection to James through Amelia's words. He understood the man's deep love for the coast, his yearning to capture its beauty in his words. It was a shared passion, a bond that transcended time and circumstance. Together, they walked along the sandy shore, their footsteps muffled by the soft sand. The air was filled with the sound of seagulls soaring overhead, their cries a testament to the wild beauty of the coast. The writer pointed out a small, weathered pier that jutted out into the ocean. "I imagine James might have sat here often," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "He might have watched the sunset, just like we are doing now, lost in his thoughts, his heart yearning for the woman he loved." Amelia's eyes widened, a flicker of recognition passing across her face. "He did," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. "My grandmother told me stories about James, about how he would write his letters on that pier, the salty air carrying his words to his beloved." The writer felt a thrill of discovery, his heart racing with the realization that he was standing on sacred ground, a place where love and longing had intertwined. He could almost hear James's words echoing across the years, his voice filled with passion and sorrow. His words were his way of reaching out to her, he said, of sharing his love, his hopes, his dreams. He couldn't be with her, but he could pour his heart onto paper, hoping that his words would find their way to her. They stood on the pier, the cool breeze whipping around them. The sun had almost completely disappeared, leaving behind a trail of vibrant colors that shimmered on the horizon. It was a moment of shared silence, of contemplation and understanding. As they walked back towards the beach house, Amelia took the writer's hand, her fingers intertwining with his. "Thank you for bringing me here," she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. "It's a place where I feel truly connected to him." The writer felt a surge of affection for Amelia. Her vulnerability touched him deeply, her connection to James both poignant and inspiring. "He would have loved you," he said, his voice sincere. "He would have seen the way his beloved spirit lives on in you." They arrived back at the beach house, the windows glowing softly in the twilight. The writer felt a sense of peace and contentment settle over him. He had found more than just a story. He had found a connection, a shared love for the coast, and a connection to a past that felt both ancient and deeply personal. Amelia, too, seemed to be touched by the experience. She had found a solace in the shared connection, a connection to the past that offered a sense of belonging and a glimmer of hope for the future. As they entered the beach house, the writer felt a new chapter in their story unfolding. The coast, with its whispered secrets and enduring beauty, had brought them together, their paths intertwining in a tapestry of love, loss, and the enduring power of connection. Amelia leaned against the railing of the weathered pier, the salty air whipping through her hair, her eyes fixed on the endless expanse of the ocean. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and crimson, casting a golden glow over the rolling waves. She could almost hear the whispers of the past carried on the wind, echoing the love story etched in the letters James had written. A story that resonated deeply within her soul. "The sea never forgets," she murmured, her voice barely audible above the crashing waves. The writer, whose name was Ethan, stood beside her, his gaze mirroring her own. The letters had captivated him, drawn him into a world of love and loss, and led him to Amelia, a woman who bore the legacy of James's unrequited love. "James loved the sea," Ethan said, his voice soft. He spoke of it with such passion, of its vastness, its power, its beauty. He found solace in its presence, a sense of peace that mirrored the peace he sought in his heart. Amelia nodded, tracing the rough grain of the pier railing with her fingers. He believed the sea held the secrets of his heart, secrets he couldn't share with anyone else. He poured them onto paper, hoping they would find their way to her, to the woman he loved. Ethan pulled out a worn, leather-bound journal from his bag, the pages filled with James's elegant script. These letters are more than just words, Amelia. They're a window into his soul, a glimpse into his deepest desires, his greatest vulnerabilities. He was a man in love, a man who was willing to lose everything for the woman he adored. She was the light of his life, Amelia replied, a faint smile touching her lips. He wrote of her with such tenderness, such admiration, such longing. It's almost painful to read his words, knowing he never had the chance to tell her how he truly felt. Ethan turned to her, his eyes reflecting the melancholy of the setting sun. The letters revealed that James faced a challenge, a barrier that stood between him and his love, a societal expectation, a family obligation, a secret that kept them apart. He couldn't defy the rules that governed his world, but he couldn't stop loving her either. His love was a forbidden fruit, Amelia. A love that was destined to remain unfulfilled. A love that was ultimately lost to the sands of time. The words hung heavy between them, a somber reminder of the bittersweet legacy that James had left behind. Amelia took a deep breath, her gaze returning to the horizon. The sea held his heart, Ethan, and it held her heart too. They were both drawn to its power, its mystery, its ability to both nurture and consume. It was a force that bound them together, even in their separation. He wrote of her as the embodiment of the sea, Amelia. Her spirit was as wild and untamed as the waves, her beauty as captivating as the sunsets he described. He saw her as a force of nature, a being beyond his grasp. As the last rays of the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a soft twilight over the sea, Ethan and Amelia walked along the beach, the sand cool beneath their feet. The waves crashed against the shore, their rhythm a constant reminder of the passage of time, of the secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface. James longed for a world where he could be with her, a world where his love wouldn't be confined by societal expectations. Ethan mused, his voice tinged with sadness. He dreamed of a life where they could be together, free to express their love without fear or consequence. He wrote of a future they couldn't have, a future that was stolen from them. He wrote of a life filled with laughter, with shared dreams, with a love that would last a lifetime. A future that was tragically lost. Ethan paused, his gaze fixed on the endless expanse of the sea. He wrote about a love that transcended time and circumstance, a love that could endure any challenge, any obstacle, a love that was destined to be forever unfulfilled. Amelia walked silently beside him, her heart heavy with the weight of James's unrequited love. The letters had opened a window into his world, revealing the depths of his longing, the pain of his loss. They had also shown her a love that had transcended generations, a love that still whispered through the ages, a love that resonated with the very essence of her being. As they walked, they came upon a small, weathered bench nestled among the dunes. The bench was facing the ocean, its back worn smooth by the salt spray and the relentless force of the wind. "James wrote about this bench, Ethan," Amelia said softly, her voice filled with a sense of nostalgia. "He described it as his sanctuary, his refuge from the world. It was a place where he could escape the pressures of his life, where he could find solace in the presence of the sea and the memories of his love." Ethan sat down on the bench, the rough wood beneath him cool and comforting. The waves crashed against the shore, their rhythmic roar a constant reminder of the ocean's power, its mystery, its ability to both nurture and destroy. He wrote about her sitting on this bench, Ethan. He described her laughter echoing through the dunes, her eyes reflecting the shimmering beauty of the sea. He wrote about how the wind carried her scent to him, a fragrance that he longed to forever inhale. Amelia sat beside him, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon. The moon was just beginning to rise, its silver light illuminating the swirling waves. The air was filled with the salty tang of the ocean, a scent that both calmed and invigorated her soul. The letters revealed a love that was pure and unconditional, Ethan. James loved her with a passion that knew no bounds, a passion that was as vast and boundless as the ocean itself. Ethan nodded, his heart heavy with the weight of James's unfulfilled longing. He could feel the depth of James's love in the words he had written, a love that was both poignant and enduring. He loved her despite the obstacles, despite the challenges, despite the seemingly insurmountable barriers that stood between them. His love was a beacon of hope in a world that was filled with darkness. As the night deepened, the moon casting an ethereal glow over the beach, Ethan and Amelia sat in silence, their thoughts consumed by James's love story, a story that resonated with the very essence of their being. The letters had opened their eyes to the enduring power of love, to the challenges it could face, to the sacrifices it could demand. They had also revealed the bittersweet nature of love, the pain of loss, the ache of unfulfilled desires. James's story is a reminder of the fragility of life, Amelia, Ethan said, his voice low. A reminder that love can be fleeting, that dreams can be shattered, that life itself can be a whirlwind of both joy and sorrow. But it's also a reminder of the power of love, Ethan. A reminder that love can transcend time and circumstance, that it can leave an enduring legacy, that it can shape our destinies even after we're gone. Ethan nodded, his heart filled with a bittersweet mixture of sadness and hope. He felt a connection to James, a connection that transcended the barriers of time and circumstance, a connection that was forged through the power of love. A love that had been both lost and found, both unfulfilled and enduring. We may never know what happened to James and his beloved Amelia. We may never know what became of their love, but their story has touched our lives in a profound way. Amelia reached out and took Ethan's hand, her fingers intertwining with his. The warmth of his touch sent a shiver through her, a shiver that was both comforting and unsettling. Their story is a reminder that love is a powerful force, Ethan. A force that can heal, that can inspire, that can transform us from the inside out. As they sat together on the weathered bench, the ocean breeze whipping through their hair, they felt a profound sense of connection. A connection that was born from the shared experience of reading James's letters. A connection that was fueled by the enduring power of love. James's love story was not just a story of unrequited love, but a story of resilience, of hope, of the enduring power of connection. It was a story that whispered through the ages, a story that resonated with the very essence of their being. They sat there for a long time, the waves crashing against the shore, the moon casting an ethereal glow over the beach, their hearts filled with the bittersweet echo of James's love story. A love story that had shaped their destinies in ways they could never have imagined. The days that followed were a blur of sun-drenched walks along the coast, shared meals under the shade of ancient oak trees, and evenings spent on the porch, listening to the waves crash against the shore. The air was thick with the scent of salt and pine, and the sound of seagulls calling to each other filled the air. Every moment spent with Amelia was a precious gift, a chance to learn about her, to connect with her spirit, to delve into the stories that had shaped her life. Amelia, a woman of quiet grace and understated beauty, had a way of making the writer feel seen, heard, and understood. Her laughter was like wind chimes, soft and melodious, and her smile could light up the darkest room. She was a true daughter of the coast, her spirit as wild and free as the ocean itself. She spoke of her family with a warmth that touched the writer's heart, her voice filled with a love that transcended generations. The writer, in turn, found himself opening up to Amelia, sharing his own stories and struggles. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing day, the foundation of their connection built on shared experiences, a mutual appreciation for the beauty of their surroundings, and a deep respect for the past. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the writer and Amelia sat on the porch of the beach house, a weathered bottle containing one of James's letters resting between them. The words in the letter spoke of a love that had been lost, a love that had left an enduring mark on James's soul. "It's strange," Amelia said, her voice soft as the evening breeze, "to think that this letter, this love story, has been hidden here all these years, waiting to be found." The writer nodded, his gaze fixed on the weathered bottle. "It's as if the sea itself was keeping the story safe, waiting for the right moment to release it." A comfortable silence fell between them, the only sounds the gentle lapping of the waves and the distant cry of a seagull. In that quiet, the weight of the past pressed down on the writer, the weight of James's unrequited love, the weight of the pain that had haunted him for so long. "He loved her so much," the writer said, his voice barely a whisper. "He loved her more than anything in the world." Amelia reached out and gently took his hand, her touch warm and comforting. "I can feel it," she said, her voice soft and steady. "I can feel his love in these letters, in the stories my family has told me, in the very air we breathe here." The writer looked at her, his heart filled with a mixture of sadness and awe. He saw in Amelia not just a descendant of James's beloved, but a woman who carried the legacy of his love, a woman who understood the depth and power of love that had transcended time and circumstance. "Amelia," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "I can't help but wonder what would have happened if James's love had been returned. What if he had been able to be with the woman he loved?" Amelia looked at him, her eyes filled with understanding. "I think," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "that his love would have been enough even if she hadn't loved him back. His love was a gift, a testament to the enduring power of the human heart, and even though it was unrequited, it still had the power to change lives, to shape generations." The writer felt a tear trace a path down his cheek, a tear of sadness for James, but also a tear of hope, a hope that even in the face of loss and unrequited love, there could be beauty, there could be healing, there could be a legacy of love that transcended time. As the stars began to appear in the sky, the writer and Amelia sat together, their hands intertwined, sharing a connection that had blossomed from the depths of a shared history, a connection that had been whispered on the wind, carried by the sea, and nurtured by the love that had transcended time. In those quiet moments, the writer realized that the past was not a burden, but a gift that had brought him to this place, to this moment, to this connection with Amelia, a connection that felt as boundless and as eternal as the ocean itself. The writer and Amelia continued to explore the coastline, their shared passion for the beauty of the sea, drawing them closer together. They walked hand in hand along the sandy beaches, their footsteps leaving trails in the soft sand. They picnicked on rocky promontories overlooking the ocean, sharing stories and laughter under the watchful gaze of seagulls. They swam in the cool waters, feeling the embrace of the sea as it enveloped them. As they spent more time together, the writer noticed a shift in their dynamic. The initial awkwardness of their first encounter had faded, replaced by a comfortable familiarity, a sense of ease and understanding. The writer found himself anticipating their daily encounters, his heart quickening at the sound of her laughter, his soul stirring at the touch of her hand. One afternoon, as they were exploring a hidden cove, the writer paused, his gaze fixed on a small, weathered boat that had washed ashore. It was a sight that evoked a sense of history, of stories untold, of journeys taken and lives lived. "It's like something out of a dream," Amelia said, her voice filled with a sense of wonder. "It is," the writer agreed, his voice echoing her sentiment. "It's like a piece of the past, a reminder that even the smallest things can carry a weight of history, of stories waiting to be told." As they stood there, gazing at the weathered boat, the writer felt a surge of inspiration, a renewed sense of purpose. He realized that the love story of James and his beloved was not simply a story of the past, but a story that resonated with the present, a story that could inspire and guide them as they navigated their own journey together. The writer, fueled by his newfound inspiration, began to write again, his pen flowing effortlessly across the page. He wrote of the beauty of the coast, of the enduring power of love, of the echoes of the past that resonated in the present. And as he wrote, he felt a sense of connection with Amelia, a sense that their shared story was unfolding, a story that was destined to be intertwined with the echoes of James's love. The air hung heavy with the scent of salt and seaweed as I sat on the porch swing, Amelia beside me. We were silent, the waves crashing against the shore a rhythmic backdrop to the swirling thoughts in my mind. I was still reeling from the weight of James's story, the sheer magnitude of his unrequited love, and the depth of his longing for a woman he could never have. Amelia, as if sensing my turmoil, reached out and gently took my hand. Her touch was warm, grounding, and it brought me back to the present moment. "He was a good man, James," she whispered, her voice tinged with a sadness that resonated with my own. "He loved her deeply, more than words could express. But life, it has a way of taking us down paths we never expected." I nodded, unable to speak. The words James had poured onto those weathered pages were etched into my memory, vivid and raw. Each line spoke of a love that transcended time and circumstance, a love that burned fiercely despite the barriers that stood in its way. It was a love story that had touched me deeply, stirring emotions I hadn't felt in years. But James's love story wasn't just about his passion for his beloved. It was also a story of loss, of missed opportunities, of the enduring power of hope, and the weight of the past. It was a story that had resonated with Amelia, too, a story that had left its mark on her family's history, shaping the lives of generations to come. He kept writing to her, even when she was gone, Amelia continued, her voice barely a whisper. For years, he penned those letters, pouring his heart out, hoping that somehow she would hear his words, feel his love. But it was all in vain. She was right. James's letters were a testament to a love that was doomed from the start. He had loved a woman who was out of his reach, a woman who had chosen another path, a path that led them both to a life without the other. His love, though unrequited, had remained steadfast, a beacon of hope in the face of despair. As I looked at Amelia, her face illuminated by the fading sunlight, I realized that James's story was a reflection of our own lives. We were all shaped by the weight of the past, by the decisions made, and the paths chosen by those who came before us. The love letters had become a conduit to a past I never knew, a past that had shaped Amelia's family, and a past that had ignited something within me. "I think he wanted to leave something behind," Amelia said softly, as if reading my thoughts. "He wanted to share his love, even if it was just with the sea. He wanted his story to be heard, to touch someone, even after he was gone." Her words were a balm to my troubled heart. It was as if James, through those letters, had reached across the chasm of time, seeking a connection, a shared understanding. And somehow, by finding his letters, I had become part of his story, part of his legacy. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The air grew cooler, carrying the scent of the sea, a reminder of the ebb and flow of life, the ever-changing tide of time. I realized that James's story wasn't just about unrequited love. It was also about the enduring power of hope, the belief that even in the face of loss, something beautiful could emerge. As I looked at Amelia, I felt a sense of connection that went beyond the shared history of James and his beloved. We were both bound to this place, to this time, to the echoes of a love story that had touched our lives in profound ways. "I don't know what the future holds," Amelia said, her voice filled with both trepidation and anticipation. "But I do know that James's story has changed me. It has shown me that love, even in its most heartbreaking form, can leave an enduring legacy." And I felt the same. James's story had opened my eyes to the hidden depths of the human heart. The capacity for love that could transcend boundaries, even the boundaries of time and circumstance. We sat there in silence, the waves crashing against the shore, a constant reminder of the ebb and flow of life, the interconnectedness of past and present. In James's story, I had found a reflection of my own, a reminder that even in the face of unrequited love, life goes on, and love, in its many forms, can still bloom. The salty air whipped Amelia's hair across her face as she and the writer, whose name was Ethan, stood at the edge of the rocky cliff overlooking the crashing waves. It was a scene straight out of a postcard, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and red, painting the sky with hues of molten gold. Amelia felt a sense of peace settle over her as she inhaled the briny air, the rhythm of the waves a calming lullaby. Ethan, ever the observer, watched her, a gentle smile playing on his lips. He had been drawn to Amelia from the moment he first saw her, her dark hair cascading down her back, eyes the color of the deep sea, reflecting the very essence of the coast they both loved. He had felt a connection to her, a kinship born of shared history and a mutual appreciation for the stories whispered by the sea. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Ethan asked, his voice a low murmur against the roar of the waves. "It's more than beautiful," Amelia said, her voice hushed with reverence. "It's home." They had been exploring the coast for days, following the trail of James's letters, the words echoing in their minds, a poignant testament to a love lost and a heart forever. Yearning, they had climbed the rugged cliffs, their laughter echoing through the canyons, and walked along the sandy beaches, the waves washing away their worries, leaving only a sense of tranquility. "The letters," Ethan said, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and sadness. "They speak of a love that transcended circumstance, a love that defied time and distance." "And yet," Amelia said, her voice tinged with melancholy, "it wasn't enough. James never got to truly express his love, to know the depth of his beloved's feelings." They sat on a moss-covered rock, the wind whipping. Through their hair, the sea a vast canvas stretching out before them. James's letters were a constant presence, a tangible link to the past that filled them with both joy and sorrow. "His love was pure," Ethan said, his eyes reflecting the hues of the setting sun. "His yearning for her was as deep as the sea itself." "He was so afraid of losing her," Amelia said, her voice soft, as if speaking a secret. "He poured his heart out in those letters, hoping that somehow, someday, they would reach her." Amelia's words resonated with Ethan. He knew what it was to feel a love so profound, so all-consuming that it consumed you, shaping your every thought, every breath. He saw a reflection of his own unspoken feelings for Amelia in James's desperate pleas, a yearning for a love that felt impossible to grasp. "And you," Ethan said, turning to Amelia, his eyes meeting hers. "You carry the legacy of that love, the echo of his heart." Amelia looked away, her cheeks flushing crimson, a wave of heat washing over her. She had felt it too. This unspoken connection, this undeniable pull between them. Ethan's presence had become a balm to her soul, a soothing melody that calmed a storm within her. "It's strange," Amelia said, her voice a whisper. "These letters, they've brought us together, connected us across the chasm of time." "We're not just connected by the letters," Ethan said, his voice soft, his gaze intense. "We're connected by this place, by this love, by this shared history." A silence settled between them. The only sound, the rhythmic crash of the waves against the rocks, a constant reminder of the sea's enduring embrace. The letters had opened a window into the past, unveiling a story of love and loss, of longing and hope. "I can't help but wonder," Amelia said, her voice filled with curiosity. "What if James had found a way to be with his beloved? Would their love have endured? Or would they have fallen victim to the same forces that kept them apart?" Ethan pondered her words, the weight of history and the complexity of human emotions weighing heavy on his heart. He knew that love, like the sea, was unpredictable, capable of immense beauty and devastating destruction. "I don't know," Ethan said, his voice filled with honesty. "But what I do know is that his love was real, it was powerful. And it's left a lasting impact on us both." He reached out, his hand gently touching Amelia's, the warmth of his touch sending shivers down her spine. He felt a surge of emotion, a mixture of sadness for James's unrequited love and a burgeoning hope for something new, something real between him and Amelia. "We can't change the past," Ethan said, his voice firm, his eyes reflecting a newfound clarity. "But we can choose how the present shapes our future." Amelia looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of apprehension and excitement. She felt the weight of the past, the shadow of James's love lingering over them, but also a sense of hope, a flicker of possibility. "I think you're right," Amelia said, her voice quiet but firm. "We can't change the past, but we can choose how the present shapes our future." The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the beach. The air grew cooler, the breeze carrying the scent of salt and seaweed. As they walked back towards the beach house, hand in hand, the stars began to emerge, twinkling like scattered diamonds in the velvet sky. The letters from the sea had guided them, leading them to a shared history, a profound connection. They had found solace in the story of James's love, a bittersweet testament to the enduring power of the human heart. And now, as they stood together, silhouetted against the backdrop of the star-dusted sky, they felt a new hope emerging, a whisper of a love that might just be waiting to unfold. Amelia, her eyes filled with a mixture of melancholy and curiosity, held the delicate, yellowed parchment in her hands. It was one of James's letters, a testament to a love that had burned bright, only to be extinguished too soon. The writer, drawn into the world of James's emotions through the letters, felt an undeniable connection to both him and the woman he loved. He had spent days poring over the letters, piecing together the story of a love that had defied societal norms and ultimately led to heartbreak. He writes of a love that was forbidden, a love that blossomed in the face of societal disapproval, Amelia whispered, her voice laced with a tinge of sorrow. It's hard to imagine a love so intense, a love so powerful, that it could defy the expectations of the time. The writer nodded, his heart heavy with the weight of James's unrequited love. He loved her deeply, Amelia. He poured his heart out in these letters, expressing his feelings with a rawness that is both heartbreaking and beautiful. As they delved deeper into the letters, a more complex picture emerged. The letters chronicled a love affair that had been both passionate and forbidden. James and his beloved, whose name was mentioned only as my dearest or my love, had met in a time when societal expectations dictated the paths of love. Their love had defied those expectations, but their love had also been a source of pain and anguish. The letters hinted at a separation, a parting that had left both James and his beloved shattered. He wrote of her leaving him, of her departure being a source of unbearable pain. The letters revealed a story of loss, a story of a love that had been cut short. He loved her fiercely, but she was lost to him. He never forgot her, never stopped loving her, Amelia said, her voice filled with a profound understanding. The writer could feel the depth of James's pain through the letters. The words on the parchment reflected a love that was both profound and unfulfilled. The letters were a testament to the enduring power of love, a love that could transcend time and circumstance. But they were also a testament to the pain of loss, the pain of a love that had been taken away. Did he ever find out what happened to her? The writer asked, his voice filled with concern. Amelia shook her head, a sadness shadowing her beautiful eyes. No, I don't think he did. He never stopped hoping that one day he would see her again, but fate had other plans. The writer traced his finger along the faded lines of a letter, his heart heavy with the weight of James's unrequited love. He poured his heart out in these letters. He wrote about his dreams, his hopes, his fears. He shared his soul with her, with these letters. And these letters, Amelia said, her voice soft, they speak of a love that is timeless, a love that transcends the barriers of time and circumstance. As they continued to read through the letters, the writer noticed a recurring theme: James's deep connection to the sea. He wrote about the way the sea calmed him, about how it offered him a sense of solace. He wrote about the way the sea mirrored his emotions, its vastness reflecting the depth of his love. He seemed to find solace in the sea, the writer commented, noticing Amelia's subtle nod of agreement. The sea was his escape, Amelia said, her voice laced with a sense of understanding. It was where he could be himself, where he could be free. The writer found himself drawn to the sea as well, its vastness and mystery mirroring the depths of James's love and the complexities of his relationship with his beloved. The sea, with its ever-changing moods and mysteries, seemed to embody the essence of their story. There was something about the sea that resonated with James, Amelia said, her voice filled with a sense of longing. He found a connection with it that was deeper than just a physical attraction. He saw the sea as a reflection of his own heart, a mirror to his soul. The writer, sensing a deeper connection between the sea and the story unfolding before him, felt a sense of awe and wonder. The sea, he realized, was more than just a backdrop to this tale of love and loss. It was an integral part of the story, its presence felt in every letter, every word, every emotion that James had poured out. They spent the next few days delving deeper into James's letters, piecing together the fragments of his story. The writer, captivated by the depth of James's emotions and the mysteries surrounding his beloved, was determined to unravel the story behind the letters. He felt a responsibility to tell the story of James's love, a love that had been cut short, but had left an indelible mark on the hearts of those who had been touched by it. As they explored James's story, the writer and Amelia found themselves drawn to each other. Their shared connection to James's love, creating a bond that deepened with every passing day. The writer, drawn to Amelia's beauty, intelligence, and kindness, felt a growing sense of affection. Amelia, intrigued by the writer's empathy and understanding, found herself drawn to his gentle spirit and his passion for uncovering the past. The story of James's love had become more than just a story. It had become a bridge a connection that was bringing the writer and Amelia together. As they delved deeper into James's past, they began to uncover secrets that had been hidden for generations. Amelia, her voice filled with both sadness and a hint of anger, revealed a truth that had been passed down through generations. James, it turned out, had been ostracized by his own family for his love for her ancestor. They had been forbidden to see each other, their love considered a stain on the family's reputation. My ancestors, they were afraid of the judgment of society, of what others would think, Amelia said, her voice filled with regret. They forced James and my ancestor apart, their love sacrificed for the sake of social standing. The writer felt a surge of anger, a sense of injustice. James, he realized, had been denied a love that he had deserved. He had been betrayed by his own family, his love deemed unworthy. He loved her so much, and they took that from him, the writer said, his voice filled with a sense of injustice. He was so vulnerable, so open with his emotions, and they cast him aside like a piece of trash. Amelia nodded, her eyes filled with tears. He was a good man, James. He loved deeply. He cared deeply. But he was also a man of his time, a man who was bound by societal expectations. The writer felt a deep sense of empathy for James. He understood the pressures of society, the weight of expectations, the fear of judgment. But he also understood the power of love, the strength of a love that could defy those expectations. He loved her, Amelia, even when she was gone. He never forgot her, never stopped hoping that he would see her again. Amelia's eyes filled with tears as she gazed at the writer, her heart filled with a sense of longing and sadness. She had never met her ancestor, never felt the warmth of her presence, but through James's letters she had come to know her love, her pain, and her story. She realized that James's love for her ancestor was a testament to the enduring power of love, a love that could survive even the most heartbreaking losses. As they delved deeper into James's letters, the writer and Amelia discovered a love that was as timeless as the sea, a love that had been forged in the depths of their hearts and had survived the passage of time. The air in the beach house hummed with a quiet energy, a palpable sense of the past clinging to every weathered beam and creaking floorboard. Amelia, with her gentle smile and eyes that held the depth of the ocean, sat across from me, her fingers tracing the faded lines of a photograph. It was a picture of a young woman, her beauty striking, her gaze filled with a longing that echoed through the decades. "That's my grandmother," Amelia whispered, her voice soft as the sea breeze that rustled the curtains. Her name was Eleanor. The photo felt like a window into the past, a portal to a time when James, the writer whose love letters had brought us together, had poured his heart onto paper, his words reaching across the gulf of years to touch our souls. As I studied the image, I noticed a subtle resemblance to Amelia, a hint of the same gentle grace and unwavering strength in their features. It was as if Eleanor's spirit lived on in Amelia, a testament to the enduring power of familial ties. "James wrote about her," I said, my voice tinged with a sense of wonder. "He called her the woman of the moonlit shore, and his love for her, it was so profound, so consuming." Amelia nodded slowly, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and understanding. "I've heard stories," she said. "My grandmother never spoke much about him, but the whispers they lingered. They spoke of a love that was forbidden, a connection that was torn apart by circumstance. And the letters," I added, my fingers tracing the faded ink of a page I held in my hands. "They speak of a love that transcended time, a yearning that knew no bounds." We spent the evening lost in the world of James's letters, each line a brushstroke on the tapestry of their love story. We read about his struggles, his hopes, his fears, and his unwavering devotion to Eleanor. His words flowed like the tide, pulling us deeper into the currents of his emotions, into the heart of a love that defied time and circumstance. He loved her deeply, Amelia said, her voice filled with an almost tangible sadness. He dedicated his entire life to her, even though they were destined to be apart. But why? I asked, my voice echoing the question that had been gnawing at me since I discovered the letters. Why couldn't they be together? What force kept them separated? Amelia sighed, her gaze drifting out to the ocean, as if seeking answers in the endless expanse of water. It was a different time, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. A time when love was not always enough. A time when societal expectations and family obligations could shatter even the strongest of bonds. As she spoke, I felt a sense of connection to her, a shared understanding of the burdens of the past, the echoes of love and loss that resonated through the generations. I saw in her eyes a reflection of James's unrequited love, a longing for a connection that had been denied. But there were other forces at play, Amelia continued, her voice gaining strength. James wasn't the only one who suffered. Eleanor, too, was trapped in a web of expectations, a life that wasn't her own. We delved deeper into the story, piecing together fragments of a love torn apart by societal pressures and family conflicts. We learned about James's struggles to earn his place in society, his attempts to bridge the gap between their social classes, his unwavering commitment to his love for Eleanor. And we learned about Eleanor, a woman caught between her own desires and the expectations of her family, a woman forced to make choices that ultimately tore her from the man she loved. The letters painted a picture of two souls yearning to be together, their love a beacon in a world that seemed determined to keep them apart. They shared moments of stolen intimacy, quiet moments of shared dreams and unspoken promises, all the while knowing that their path was fraught with obstacles, a love story destined to end in heartbreak. As we read, I felt a profound sense of sorrow for James and Eleanor, for a love that had been denied, for a connection that had been torn apart. Yet, amidst the sadness, there was a glimmer of hope, a testament to the enduring power of love, a reminder that even in the face of loss, love could leave behind an indelible mark on the human heart. The echoes of their story reverberated through the present, intertwining with my growing feelings for Amelia. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was her strength, her compassion, her gentle soul that truly captivated me. I saw in her a reflection of Eleanor, a woman who carried the legacy of a love story that had transcended time, a love that had shaped her family's history. And as I looked at Amelia, my heart filled with a longing that mirrored James's own. I realized that the echoes of the past were not simply a reminder of loss, but a promise of something new, a chance to build a connection that might just transcend the boundaries of time and circumstance, a chance to rewrite the story of love, a story that had been waiting for its happy ending. Amelia's eyes glistened, reflecting the flickering candlelight as she recounted a tale whispered through generations. Her voice, soft and melodic, carried the weight of history, each word painting a vivid picture of a life lived long ago. The writer, captivated by her words, leaned forward, eager to absorb every detail, every nuance of the story that intertwined with the love letters he'd found in the weathered bottle. My great-grandmother, Eliza. She was a woman of remarkable spirit, Amelia began, her voice laced with reverence. They say she was known for her kindness and grace, her heart as vast as the ocean that surrounded our coastal town. Amelia paused, a wistful smile gracing her lips as she gazed out the window, her gaze seemingly lost in the distant horizon. The writer, his heart filled with a mixture of curiosity and empathy, gently urged her to continue. Eliza, she was a woman of strong convictions, a woman who dared to love even when societal expectations dictated otherwise. The writer's curiosity intensified, his mind racing with questions. He knew from the letters that James, the man whose love had touched Amelia's family, was a man of passion and longing. But his love for Eliza had remained unrequited. Eliza was promised to a man of wealth and standing, Amelia continued, her voice filled with a hint of sadness. A man who could secure her family's future, a man who held the promise of stability. The writer's brow furrowed, understanding dawning. He had always assumed James's love was unrequited because of societal constraints. But now, Amelia's words revealed a deeper complexity. Eliza, bound by duty and tradition, was unable to reciprocate James's affections. But Eliza, she loved James, Amelia said, her voice gaining strength, a glimmer of defiance in her eyes. She loved him with a fierce, unyielding devotion. They shared a bond that transcended societal norms, a love that whispered secrets on the wind and danced with the tides of the sea. Amelia's words echoed in the writer's mind, painting a poignant picture of a love story lost to time, a love story that had left an indelible mark on her family's history. He could see the echoes of their love in the stories Amelia shared, in the tales passed down through generations. Amelia's grandfather, a man known for his unwavering loyalty and dedication to his family, had inherited his grandfather's spirit, his love for the sea, and a deep-seated respect for the past. His devotion to his family, his unwavering commitment to honoring the memory of his ancestors, was a testament to the legacy of a love story that had endured the trials of time. And yet, Amelia continued, her voice softening, they were torn apart by the very world that promised them security. Eliza, faced with an impossible choice, chose to honor her family's legacy, to uphold the expectations placed upon her. The writer, his heart aching with a sense of lost love, could only imagine the pain Eliza must have endured, the heartache that would forever haunt her memories. James, his love unrequited, had been left to wander the world, his heart eternally yearning for a love he could never have. James, he sailed away, Amelia said, her voice tinged with a touch of melancholy. He left to chase his dreams, to seek solace in the vastness of the world, carrying the weight of his unrequited love. The writer, tracing a finger along the edge of the worn tabletop, felt the weight of James's story settling upon him. His journey, his heartbreak, his enduring love for a woman he could never truly have, it all resonated within the writer's soul. He never forgot Eliza, Amelia said, her voice gaining strength, a sense of pride replacing the sadness that had clouded her eyes. His letters, they speak of a love that defied time and circumstance. He wrote of his hopes, his dreams, his longing for her presence. The writer, his gaze fixed on Amelia's face, could see the reflection of James's enduring love in her eyes, a love that had been passed down through generations, a love that had shaped the very fabric of her family's existence. And you, Amelia, the writer said, his voice filled with admiration, you carry the legacy of his love. His story, his heartache, his dreams, they live on through you. Amelia smiled, a bittersweet expression gracing her features. I suppose it is true, she said, her voice laced with a hint of resignation. James's love story, it is woven into the tapestry of our family, a thread that connects us to the past, a thread that reminds us of the enduring power of love. The writer, his heart brimming with a sense of wonder and admiration, nodded, his gaze tracing the patterns of the tapestry that hung on the wall, a symbol of family history, a testament to the enduring legacy of love. James's love story, a tale of unrequited passion, of dreams and longing, had found its way into the fabric of Amelia's family. A powerful reminder of the enduring power of love, even in the face of heartbreak. The salty air carried the scent of the sea, mingling with the aroma of coffee brewing in the small kitchen of the beach house. Amelia sat at the table, her gaze drawn to the worn, leather-bound journal lying open before her. It was the writer's journal, filled with his observations about the love letters they had found, his reflections on James's life, and his growing feelings for Amelia. "He really loved her, didn't he?" Amelia said, her voice soft, her fingers tracing the faded ink of the journal's pages. The writer nodded, his eyes reflecting the soft glow of the morning sun filtering through the window. More than anything, it was a love that defied circumstance, that transcended time and even death. Amelia paused, her eyes glistening with a mix of sadness and wonder. "I feel like I know him, even though I never met him. His love for her resonates through everything, even in the faded ink of these letters." The writer smiled, a touch of melancholy in his eyes. "He wasn't perfect, James. He made mistakes. He had regrets. But his love for her was unwavering. He was willing to sacrifice everything for her." Amelia turned a page, her eyes lingering on a passage where the writer described a particular letter, a letter that spoke of a day when James and his beloved spent a day at the beach, sharing laughter, dreams, and the promise of a future. "Together. I can almost hear them, can't you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. The writer nodded, his imagination conjuring images of a young, vibrant James, his eyes filled with love as he gazed at his beloved, her laughter echoing in the salty breeze. He could almost hear their whispered promises, their dreams for a future together. It was a future that was cruelly snatched away, leaving James with a heart forever broken. "It's a love story that could have been," Amelia said, her voice filled with sadness. "But it's also a love story that inspires hope. A love that shows us that true love can endure even in the face of loss and separation." The writer reached across the table, his fingers gently brushing against hers. "It's more than just a love story, Amelia," he said, his voice filled with a new conviction. "It's a testament to the enduring nature of connection, to the power of love to transcend time and circumstance. It's a reminder that even when love is lost, the echoes of that love can reverberate through generations, reminding us of the beauty and fragility of human connection." Amelia looked up at him, her eyes reflecting the warmth of the rising sun. "I think James's love story is also a reminder that love can take on unexpected forms," she said. "It can bloom in the most unexpected places. It can survive the harshest storms, and it can bring us together in ways we never imagined." The writer smiled, his heart filled with a sense of peace and understanding. He had come to the beach house seeking inspiration, searching for a story that would move his soul and touch the hearts of his readers. He had found more than that. He had found a love story that had echoed across the years, a love story that had taught him about the depth of human connection, the enduring power of love, and the possibility of a second chance. He had found Amelia. As they sat together, sipping their coffee and gazing out at the endless expanse of the ocean, their shared journey was just beginning. They had yet to unravel all the secrets buried in the past, but they were ready to face the future, their hearts intertwined, their paths converging in a tapestry of love, loss, and the enduring power of connection. The love story of James and his beloved had become their own, a testament to the enduring nature of love, a beacon guiding them through the twists and turns of life's journey. Their journey, however, was far from over. They were just beginning to understand the intricate threads that connected them, the echoes of the past that whispered through the present, and the possibilities that lay ahead, waiting to be explored. They were united by a shared love for the sea, a shared fascination with the mystery of James's love story, and a shared sense of hope for the future.